I broke the table. Welcome back to Vintage
Wow.
Vinyl. It's punk rock.
Damn it! Yes.
It's the best of punk rock. I'm
Whoa.
feeling very aggro.
Well, I mean, this just shows that we are closer to white punks on dope than we are to the punks. However, JLP.
Yeah. Tom Iser.
Yes, there we go. We couldn't get the introduction. You're so fired up, you couldn't get the introductions right on this show. Wow.
I love the punk rock.
This is our tribute to punk rock. And there's a lot to choose from.
There's too much to choose from.
There is too much. There are going to be people out there that think that this show is strictly going to be about the Sex Pistols and the Ramones.
Nope.
Wrong. You will hear some Sex Pistols and Ramones because you can't have a punk list without.
Well, speaking of Ramones, we agreed. We don't usually talk about what we do before we make a list. But we agreed that since we'd already done an entire show about the Ramones, that we were going to each pick one Ramones song and put it at number 10 in honor of their complete and utter awesomeness.
Yes.
So that's what we did.
Yes. And why don't we just say what they are? At number 10, I went with Teenage Lobotomy.
I did Blitzkrieg Bop.
Two outstanding choices.
Just so everyone knows, this could have been another top 10 Ramones list, theoretically.
And we could have chosen 10 other Ramones songs. We could have done it, folks. Challenge us. Number 9, I'm going with When the Hits the Fan by the Circle Jerks, which is one of the best songs off the Repo Man soundtrack, only because of the opening with these guys in these tuxedos, these really just terrible tuxedos, saying 10 kids in a Cadillac waiting in line for the welfare check. Oh, I love that opening. Oof. Number 8, I'm going with some legendary American punks, the Dead Kennedys.
Are they Los Angeles punks?
Los Angeles punks. This is a choice song. California Uberalis. It came down between that and Hotel Cambodia, but I'm going with California Uberalis. Number 7, I'm going with one of the most underrated of the punk bands, The Jam, In the City.
Interesting.
Not their best song, but it's one of the first songs by them I ever heard, and I absolutely loved it. Number 6, I'm going with one of the greatest titles of a song in all of punk rock, Pills by the New York Dolls. They popped up on our hairband show.
Yep.
However, they're still underrated as far as I'm concerned, as far as a rock and they're crossing over. They're punk now, but they were certainly a tight, fun, energetic rock and roll band.
It's funny, they do, the whole thing about proto-punk, proto-metal, all that stuff. They were on the ground floor of at least 2 major movements.
Easily.
But they're still not a band that, just a casual person even knows the name.
No.
They might know the name maybe, but they don't get the glorious extravagance of David Johansen and Johnny Thunders. All right, so my number 9 is, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge about Los Angeles punk, but I love X, and I love the song Los Angeles.
Yes.
I labored over which X song to pick, but I kept coming back to this one. It's one of their most famous, but every time I would go back and spin it, I would say, man, that's got to be the one. So that's what it is.
Sure.
Number 9, Patti Smith, Land, from her first album.
Nice.
Just an epic song that builds to an intensity that she, I don't know if she ever really got there again.
Well, and she truly is. If Sheena isn't the punk rocker, then Patti Smith is. Good choice. Very good choice.
Number 7, I kept it local to our area code with King Horse, one of Louisville's all-time most powerful live bands. They invented punk metal. They were doing punk metal a decade before anyone even thought of calling it punk metal.
And they were sounds. It was sounds from a guitar.
It is the craziest combination of just speed riffs and a punk rock singing and lyrical concerns. R.I.P. the King Horse. Maybe they'll come back someday. Number 6, I cheated. I wanted The Clash in this list, of course.
I'm glad you did.
So I did London's Burning from the first album and London's Calling from London's Calling.
From London's Calling, okay.
It was completely bogus pairing just so I could get 11 songs instead of 10.
Well, there will be more on that, more on The Clash to follow. But I'm going to kick off the top 5 with, I'm going to call them America's second greatest punk band, the Stooges.
Nicely done.
Right behind the beloved Ramones, with Search and Destroy. And what I love about this song is in the opening couple of lines, with Iggy Pop saying that he's a street-walking cheetah with a heart full of napalm. And he's the son of a nuclear A-bomb. He had to alter napalm to get it to work with A-bomb. That is fantastic. Again, not worried about the lyrics. Just get it to fit. And just a tremendous opening riff.
I'm a street-walking cheetah with a heart full of napalm. I'm a runaway son of a nuclear A-bomb.
I love that riff.
And what's especially funny about that, he really didn't need to alter it.
No,
he could have worked just fine.
He could have fudged it. A-bomb, A-bomb. That's it. A-palm and it could have worked, but no, he decided to work it a little differently. I loved it.
That's what he does. I went with the Pistols for my number 5, Pretty Vacant. I wanted to do one song off the first album. I labored over it. And ever since I first heard Nevermind the Bollocks, Pretty Vacant has been the song that I just love the most. I don't know why.
Westside pretty, outside pretty. Vacant. Westside pretty, outside pretty. Vacant.
I just keep going to it.
It's pretty hard to go away from the standards, which unfortunately I'm going to do, but I can back it up. But for those other songs, Pretty Vacant is an excellent choice. I would have only backed it up with, if I was going into a deep Pistols cut, I would have went with I Don't Want a Baby That Looks Like That. but other than that, no, that's an excellent choice if you're looking for a really, really hard Pistol song.
All right.
That brings me to number 4, and I'm back to the New York Dolls. I'm back to pure glam, and with an opening that goes, wow, personality crisis. It says you got it while it was hot. That's the thing I like about that song. Now, my question there is, are they only speaking about a personality that they got it while it was hot? I don't know, but nonetheless, it is an unbelievable song. It's a great rock and roll tune. I believe it's off the first album.
Yep.
Which arguably has one of the greatest glam covers of all time. But this is truly it is the rock and roll that, let's say, the glam bands that we know, the Poisons and the Vixens, never could pull off.
Oh, no.
This is real hard rock and
That's my second favorite New York Dolls song. My first favorite is at number 4, Trash.
Okay, there we go. Yes.
I love, from the same album, it feels almost like we could have done a top 10 New York Dolls.
And that's coming, but we were going to need a lot of lead time for the clothing.
Try us, won't pick it up. Take them nights away. Try us, won't get it up. Don't take my night away. Try us, won't pick it up. Forgot to take them all away. I say now, please, don't you ask me if I love ya.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Number 3. This is going with the Sex Pistols. I'm going with Yeah Right, Anarchy in the UK.
That's a good song.
I am an Antichrist. I mean, come on, what more can you say? I love the fact that not only is this song, it's so militant and so angry, but it does work in the fact that you mentions is it the IRA? it's got all the political tension of Britain in the 70s in it too, with just the anger. You know, one of the great lines that Johnny Rotten said was that he thought that the guys at the time, that Mick Jagger, Rod Stewart, he called them all wankers, because especially Mick Jagger, who he said pretended to be a street fighting man when they're, you know, going to the nice clubs and hanging out with great birds. These guys were worried about zits popping on their face. These were truly the angry young men of Britain, and anarchy in the UK.
Nice choice, nice choice. I'm doing number 3, The Replacements, my favorite thing, from not from their most stupid drunk punk albums. It was from their 3rd album, Let It Be. But probably, in my mind, their last great pure punk song, favorite thing.
You're my favorite thing.
And then transition to...
Oh, they started getting a little bit more into more typical songwriting, a little bit more clever and mainstreamy sounding.
Well, I'm glad you're not holding that against them, though.
Oh, no, because they were still better than anybody else.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rising to number 2. I'm sticking with the Pistols. I'm sorry. Dang. But I know, but it's time for God Save the Queen. She ain't no human being.
I mean it.
I mean, again, these 2 songs epitomize not just the genre, which we're finding so many good things, but, you know, for those who've seen Sid and Nancy, for those who've seen the documentary Filth and the Fury, how miserable life in England was at that time. And these guys just absolutely spit it out at a time when it was more, you know, Beatles and rock and roll. They just tore that all to shreds. And the fact that this song was banned gives you even more reason to love it.
You know what's funny about them is they were I mean, there was a large marketing aspect to them from Malcolm's side. But they overcame being a tool of Malcolm McLaren to just be really great tools.
And if you ever want a great read, you should get 10 Days on the Road in America with the Sex Pistols. It is a first-person account by the roadie who was with them on their American tour, which went, of course, to San Francisco and New York, the hotbeds of punk at the time, but also toured such lovely places as Ruston, Louisiana, and Brownsville, Texas. You talk about marketing. That is brilliant, to take these guys and to take them down into some very hostile territory down in the Deep South. It is an amazing read. Amazing.
I know a guy whose band opened for their very last show, and I think it was San Francisco.
Yeah, they did. They went New York to San Francisco.
Yeah. His band was called the Nuns. They were the local kind of big-name punk rock band. They opened for the very last Pistol show before the reunions, of course.
Oh, that's sweet.
When it mattered. The Stooges are number 2 for me. Loose.
Okay.
Loose is just like a blunt object to you.
I'll stick it deep inside. I'll stick it deep inside. 'Cause I'm loose. Hey!
I just love it so much.
Well, that's what those boots are supposed to be. Good choice.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'm going to finish this off at number 1 with you had it at number 6. I'm going with The Clash and London Calling, only because for a good part of my time in Germany, and I don't have to recount all the instances of vomiting and puking and excess, and let's just call it excess. I cannot think how many times, either at the beginning or the end of that evening, The Clash and London Calling was playing at some point.
London Calling, faraway town, war is declared, battle come down. London Calling, underworld, out of the tunnel, boys and girls. London Calling.
dun, 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 dun. What I London calling to the faraway towns. Of course, I do love the fact too that it says phony Beatlemania bites the dust. Oh yes, I love that. But it's it's apocalyptic. The sun zooming out, the ice is melting, and but I live by the river. So, you're going to get swallowed up by it all. It's doom and gloom, but at the same time, it's got such a great, great tune to it. Great rock and roll.
Full of great riffs. Guitar riff is great.
Oh, absolutely. That beginning, I think there's a great scene in, I want to say Die Another Day, a James Bond movie, where the villain's parachuting in down to London, and, it kicks off with that dent, dent, dent. Oh, that's fantastic. So yes, this song does transition, but hey, you've got Sid Vicious now showing up on Cadillac commercials. So anything is possible when it comes to punk.
I went with New York. You went with probably England's greatest punk band. I went with one of New York's great punk bands, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. Richard Hell grew up in Lexington, obviously disadvantaged from the start. Lexington, Kentucky. He moved to New York. He hooked up with all the people on ground zero of punk rock. And Blank Generation is a song that not only is a great song, but it actually goes for naming a movement. Naming all the attitude. We're a blank generation. He went for it. He swung for the fences to sum up how he felt like this generation felt about itself, and he did it. When you're going to go for something that big and you pull it off, I'm going to put you at number one.
That is a story behind a story. That's fantastic. And for those who don't know this, or don't know the song, you got to listen to it just for that backstory.
It holds up beautifully today, and he's still out there.
Well, who were the people at Ground Zero that he got in with?
Oh, it was all the people from the CBGB crowd.
Okay.
He did a lot of work with Tom Verlaine. He was in television for a little while. So he was in with the art Damage punk rockers, and then he just decided, I'm just going to do punk rock.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was right there when people were bleeding and dying and all that great Lou Reed stuff you read about.
Well, this is an angry list. This is an angry list, but we love it.
I wonder, we probably should have slipped in a little
It's hurting me right now that we did not work in some kind of Velvet Underground.
We'll just do a whole show about it.
We'll just do a whole show about it. I agree.
All right, all you gray-haired punks out there. And I have to admit, right now, I was never a punk. I could have been. I was right there when it started, and I just was still high and listening to Yes.
Stoners, not punks.
I was just kidding about being a punk. Take a look at our list. Tell us what you think. No one likes to argue about music more than former and current punk rockers. So we know that you're going to want to go to our Facebook page, CJ Vinyl, and hit us up on Twitter. Same thing. Same at CJ Vinyl. Let us know what you're thinking.
Jeffrey?
Hi, Sheena. What's up?
Don't think that cable's not coming out of your allowance.
Oh, busted. You might as well break the thing now, brother. Punk. A white punk on dope.
Charge it up, Mom.
Yeah, there we go.
Charge it to my account. All right, come back next time for another episode of Vintage Vinyl that will be probably a lot less stupid.